Hey guys, I'm Will from the Airsoft Podcast, and today we're here with a special guest. We have Thumpy from Thumpy's3DHouseOfAirsoft, and he's just going to give all you fans an update on what went on at SHOT Show 2013. Thumpy, how are you doing?
Fantastic, Will. Glad you guys had us on, and we're just back home from SHOT Show, and man, what a year for Airsoft.
So yeah, it looked like great. From looking out on Facebook, I saw tons of updates. Looked like a good year. Why don't you just go ahead and give our fans, just tell them some different booths and basically what you did.
Cool. Well, if you don't know about SHOT Show, and some airsofters and Milsim players aren't aware of what goes on there, it's probably the world's biggest show for anything that's tactical, anything that's hunting and fishing related, and for about the last 10 years or so, every year it builds for excitement for airsoft. So some of the top manufacturers in the country, a lot of the gear manufacturers, they all show off their brand new things there. Literally, if you walk the floor at the TANS Convention Center and you have a chance to see everything up and down the aisles, if you just did that once, you would walk 12 miles. So you can't possibly see everything in, just less than a week. But some of the crazy stuff that we saw this year was just absolutely mind-blowing.
That's awesome.
Things like the Great Nexus, the thing that really pops out into my head, and the news is just coming out right now, is this fantastic nexus between airsofters, the manufacturers for airsofting, and the real steel manufacturers finally seeing that airsoft is a quality product, and you can't say enough stuff about what happened with KWA bringing quality to the market. This year, they shared a booth with Chris, with Defiance and Sphinx Pistols. They announced not only a Sphinx pistol is going to be coming out hopefully in 2013. That is one for one. You can't tell the difference between it and the real steel Sphinx pistol. They have their brand new Magpul Masada with the LM4 gas system inside it there. And, the PTS people have worked with them. And then just announced right at the end of the SHOT Show, they have licensing from LWRC. And that is just going to blow you away when you start to see the things that they're going to be able to do with one of the best AR-15 manufacturers. The most exciting news, I think, out of the SHOT Show was that they've landed a contract with a serious real steel company. And that can only mean great things this year.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think we saw LWRC, the license. I think they posted it on their Facebook page just a few hours ago this morning. So yeah, you can check it out there. What did you guys see from the other booths, like Elite Force?
Oh, Elite Force, man, we love Andy and Cliff. They actually helped co-sponsor, and we want to do a gigantic shout-out for them. They co-sponsored something that we got started last year called the War Mess. It's basically like a mess night for as many people as can get in early on the Monday night of the SHOT Show. A chance for all of the airsoft and real Milsim kind of media folks out there on the net, the guys that you see and watch. Everybody from the Tominator over at Pyramid Airsoft Blog, Dr. Airsoft, or Rangemaster Larry, to Steve and Jonathan, our buddies from Airsoftology. All these guys, a bunch of folks like Steve and his gang from SS Airsoft in Atlanta, Georgia, they all get together, try to get together and have just kind of a night of camaraderie and cutting up and having some fun. We did that Monday night again, but the stuff at their booth is just mind-blowing this year. Of course, they did great things by getting Red Jacket Firearms, the guys from Sons of Guns, to sign on and do not only a 1911 pistol, which they have really one of the best ones out right now. That CO2 pistol is amazing. Now you can get it as a Red Jacket if you want it. They also announced they're going to be doing an AR, an AK, and things in the future. I talked with Joe Mew from Red Jacket, did an interview with him that you'll be seeing up on our YouTube channel, because little did we know, he was actually an airsofter. That's what got him interested in guns. And, of course, they have some really innovative products that we're going to be doing some stories on in the future with them. But interviewed Joe, talked with Andy and Cliff at the booth. They were run over by the people that were there. And that's really fantastic things that will be coming out this year that you'll be seeing and hearing all about, including that new Beretta rifle. Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing. We love those guys, and they really get American airsoft. So good to have them part of the team, too.
So did you check out their Speedloader? Because I know that was one of the first couple of videos that I saw from American Milsim and Mako was the Speedloader. Did you get a chance to check that out?
Yeah, Kilroy got some video up that we put out right away on the Scoop It. Kilroy is a buddy of ours from way back, too, and all those guys from Kansas and the Midwest were there. Yeah, it's the most amazing little product, and it's a funky thing. It's not something necessarily that if you're a mill simmer, you're going to want to carry on your field. Our buddy Frosty from American Mill Sim was talking about that after they put the video up. It's not something that a mill simmer is going to carry in a scabbard or one out on the field, but if you want a really quick way to load your magazines off the field, you get to a field, you get out of your vehicle, and you're ready to go. You can load those magazines in 4 or 5 pumps. You can load a mid-cap. It's just a really incredibly cool little tool. You could probably put it in some sort of a different package. They wanted it to look something like a gun, so you could kind of hide it in your gear. But for guys at regular airsoft events, or if you're a paint soft or a CQB kind of guy, it's going to be fantastic for your ability to reload in between games really fast. No more having to crank or breaking off the little stems on a Speedloader. Put your magazine into it, cock it like you're pumping a shotgun, 4 or 5 pumps, you're ready to go. Your magazine's literally topped out. It was a really cool idea. If they can make it a little more sturdy and they can get the price right, that's going to be a really cool piece of gear. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was a lot of fun to play with.
Also, did you check out their MP5? Because I know I was talking to RJ from Airsoft Simulations, and that was one of the guns both of us were interested in. And I know one of the features I saw was on the selector switch, they included a 3-round burst, so that was something I was interested in. I don't know if you got to check that out.
Yeah, they have 3-round burst. It's a full metal gun. I think, if I remember correctly, that was going to be a VFC gun, and it's like really solid feeling. It feels. I work for a local municipality. Our police department loves to shoot those kind of guns, and it really did feel that. And their brand new higher end UMP, their UMP, felt just like the real gun. I'm not joking. They literally felt just like the real guns that I've shot for real. So that was kind of exciting, and it's amazing that these guys don't tell you a lot of what that they have coming out at the show, because they do want show surprises and those sort of things. But Andy and Cliff have told us they have even more surprises than the stuff that was on the floor coming this year. And to show you how much people respect them, virtually every one of the big merchandiser groups goes by their booth to see what's going on. The guys that you know, like Tim and Bob from ASGI, Mule and Vince from Airsoft Megastore, the guys from EVIC, Matt, those guys, they're all by the booths with us right there trying to find out what's coming out, because they really like the stuff that Elite Force is putting out. So that's kind of an exciting booth to hang out at every year. But, there are all kinds of other folks there doing things. The gang from ICS were there again this year, and I got a chance to meet Francis, Miss Joanna, who's there, who's related to the folks who own the company, and some of their folks that were there helping. Fantastic, a bunch of guys, including the guys from CAT Technologies down in Georgia. Just a really fun bunch of guys to hang out with there. And then, there are folks like G&G, the owner of G&G, Sam, our brand new buddy. We didn't realize we had such a huge fan, but Sam from G&G showed us the world over there at their booth. And then we see a lot of folks at the Real Steel booths and got mentioned and got picked up on the floor a lot this year. It's amazing how many people have kind of been able to pick out my face from the big fat head. But to get mentioned or seen on the floor and spotted, and have somebody look down at the name tag or look at you and say, "Oh man, you're Thumpy. You do great stuff. We read your news every day." That was really exciting this year for the first time. So we're kind of on a real high here coming back from the show.
That's awesome. So what did you see from Cybergun and Spartan Imports and ASG?
The Spartan Imports guys, St. and those guys have some really cool pistols. The M&P pistol was something that everybody wanted to see over there. I've even seen that they've done some release information and some other pictures on things. Literally, their booth is very small, very compact. It's another one where a lot of the airsofters go and a lot of the dealers are there. So you don't get much time to talk to the guys, kind of catch them 2 or 3 times or 4 times as you go through the show, shake hands, say hi to people. One place to find out a lot of what those guys are going to have this year will be to watch Tominator stuff over at Pyramid Airsoft blog. When Tom gets back and starts putting his videos together, you'll see a lot of stuff from there. But Don was just so busy, it's hard to get in there. They're really happy to be working with Milsim Monkey. So all of Milsim Monkey patches and gear and stuff they're going to have at their booth this year. And I did just see some new branded guns that they're not quite sure even quite what's going to be on them this year, but they're working, we understand, with a couple of companies literally out of the homeland of airsoft, and some surprises on the way that they couldn't even talk about yet. Literally deals coming together as the show was there. So someone to watch this year, definitely Spartan. Yeah, they're a cool bunch of guys. We really like them a lot.
That's awesome. So, did you have a chance to check out the ASG Scorpion? Because one of our co-hosts wanted to, just a random question, wanted to know what gearbox, if you knew what gearbox was in it.
The ASG Scorpion was announced last year that they were working on it at their booth. It's still under glass, and to our understanding, is the same prototype, so it looks pretty worse for the wear. It was beat up pretty good, but think about this. It's been to that show, it's been to EWA, it's been to all the other shows, it's been handled probably millions of times. It's literally under a plexiglass box. But when we got to the booth this year, first thing I did was pointed at it and said, okay, guys, when's it coming out? And the good news is it looks like they finalized the testing on it. They've really tried to make it, because this is going to be the first airsoft gun that's going to literally be made out of Europe. They're making it there because they wanted the products and the standards to be to a higher standard. It's incredible to hold, but the good news is this spring it should come out of testing and go into production. So I think we're going to see it in 2013. And of course, they do such really incredible, fantastic work. ASG also is now in the American market because they've set up distribution out in California. And we have contacts with them out there, and are hopefully going to get our hands on some of that. If they do some testing, do some reviewing, or at the very least, we'll keep you in charge, in touch at Scoop, to let you know when that's going to hit. But it looks like it's going to drop this year, and they're a fun bunch of guys to hang around with. We were over there when Dr. Airsoft was at their booth this year. Dr. Airsoft and Rangemaster Larry are just two of the funniest guys to hang out with. And we have a really good time being three of the oldest guys on the floor, kind of with all the kids. But yeah, the ASG stuff, really super high quality products, just like you think they would be. And I got another little tip for you too. They have the licensing for Steyr. They have the AUGA already, the AUG, and they have the Steyr pistol stuff. Expect to see them step up the game and do better versions of those. And of course, they already work in the 4.5 millimeter BB gun line in a lot of their pistols and guns. So a lot of that really solid BB gun technology will probably start making its way over into the 6 millimeter lines of airsoft guns. And we handled some pistols in the BB gun line that were awesome. They need to make a full-size magazine that holds CO2, but those guns are just going to be amazing if they can kind of take some of what some of the airsoft community told them. It's going to be a fun year to watch what ASG does too.
Yeah, I know many people are excited about ASG. Do you have any other booths you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we could spend like a week here talking about some of the stuff we saw on the floor, but just to see, I think the really big thing was the takeaway of solid guys, trainers, bumping into Chris Costa on the floor, knowing Travis Haley, talking with, and I met for the first time and interviewed, and you'll see on the Scoop It YouTube channel shortly, did an in-depth interview with Wes Doss. Dr. Doss is a trainer, is trained all over the world, does some fantastic stuff. He works with the guys at Steyr, and little did I know, way back in the day, he used to be the Sistema guy in America. So it was really good to talk to him. They are all huge proponents of using airsoft as a training tool for military, for law enforcement, or for guys who are real steel shooters, competition, or for home defense. But using airsoft as a very cost-effective tool to be able to train. And as proof of that, from what Wes was telling us, our buddy Wallace Lau down at Z-Shot took us around behind their booth. Last year we announced we were right there with them as they handed the Knights Armament people their very first airsoft gun. It's in the Knight Family Museum down at the Institute for Military Technology in Florida. This year they've done a chainsaw gun, but Wallace took me around behind the booth and showed me literally the guys that were at his back have cut a real steel lower to work with the KWA system, and a number of different companies are looking at doing that, making their real steel lower fit with an airsoft lower, so that you're going to be able to actually buy an airsoft gun that is 1-to-1 scale, solid like your rifle. It doesn't have to handle pressures that a 5.56 or a 7.62 rifle do, but it will be exactly like your other rifle, but you'll be able to train with that for pennies on the dollar. And we all know that real ammunition is harder and harder to find. The costs are going up and up and up. Of course, whatever happens politically with the gun ban or any changes for real steel is going to affect that. But these guys are serious about airsoft for the very first time. And I think when you see companies like Magpul, Rifle Dynamics is doing some things with Echo One for guns, but I can tell you there are going to be some other things in that line, even though they weren't at the show this year. Rifle Dynamics and their people in Las Vegas airshofters here in my hometown in North Carolina. Everybody is taking airsoft seriously. The people in airsoft know the guns have to be better. They have to be more rugged and not break all the time. And so for airsofters, we're going to get better quality guns. For the real steel guys, they're going to get guns that they'll be able to train with for pennies on the dollar. And we will probably see new players, new Milston players come out of that market, because if you've got a gun you can play with and train with, you'll probably bring it out to a local field and start getting into events. So it was the most exciting year of the 3 years I've been at SHOT Show for airsoft. People really get it now.
That's great. So, what did you see from the gear manufacturers like Voodoo and High Speed Gear, as you mentioned? What new stuff do they have coming out?
Well, of course, High Speed Gear has that great nexus with the drop-like holsters. They're doing fantastic stuff with their taco pouches. We literally flew in on the plane with Gene from High Speed Gear, he's just a fantastic character. We love him a lot. He's, as I said, he's right here in my home county. G-code holsters and High Speed Gear, you guys might not know this, but they've hired a lot of guys to work with them here in the community on their production lines, and some of the things that they do, and their shooters are actually airsofters and Milsim players that we play with here in the area in North Carolina. So they get it. There are also a couple of those companies that get their brain around it. Voodoo Tactical had some really cool things out. Blue Force Gear was doing some new things with Chris Costa for a line of subdued things. It's really cool to have tactical gear, but you don't necessarily want to take it to school or take it to the office with you. Well, they have gear that are in different colors now that look like standard book bags or backpacks, but they're actually full-blown, full-on tactical gear that you can use. And if you like to kind of not show off that you're a gun guy or not show off that you're an airsofter, but you still like the gear that they make, you're going to be able to do that this year. And the numbers of different camouflage patterns, the numbers of different rigs that we saw, some real innovation, and a lot of people really, as I said, kind of embracing the airsofters, where they would go, oh yeah, you're a bunch of airsoft guys, I know you're a bunch of gearos. But they actually are getting great feedback from the airsoft players on what to do to make their gear more functional. And the military guys that are now also airsofters. We know a lot of guys in the Marine Corps and Army communities here that play with us, and like our buddy Greg Wong the Merciless, as we call him over on YouTube, Spartan 117 GW. He gives those guys some fantastic feedback, as do all the other players, and you're starting to see that in the gear. Lighter gear, more functional, works better, lasts longer, and more affordable. So yeah, it was a fun year to see a lot of that stuff. And then, golly sakes, do you run into people? We got a chance to meet Mad Max Mullen. I missed meeting John Liu again this year, but Max is a friend of a lot of our players. And of course, you know him from the Lion Claw series. All the other guys, I mean, we could talk for a week about all the people we brushed elbows with or that saw us on the floor. Met the guys from the Weapons Blender for the first time. They spotted us on the floor and said, hey, you're Thumpy. That's kind of cool, man. Nice to meet you. And had some fantastic times with the guys away from the show, too. So it's just a really exciting year to be there. And if you haven't, not everybody can do SHOT Show. As a media guy, we get to go. And what I really like about the Scoop It is you get to see everybody's stuff kind of all in one place, and then go explore their websites, because there's no way in a week we can put everything up. I literally had, when I got home this morning, you'll love this. You will absolutely love this, Will. I had 700 different messages in my inbox from people.
Wow.
I mean, on an average week, 70 is smoking for what Thumpy does. But I literally was just banged by people oh, great to meet you, see you, here's some more stuff we got, here's our new latest thing. Wait until you see what we have at the IWA show, the IWA show in March. That's going to blow you away. And I'm sitting here, I've been sitting here for hours now going through the box and just looking at all the exciting stuff.
Wow.
You and I were having a conversation via Facebook here a little while ago. The other window I've got up is Mule from Airsoft Megastore. And did you get a chance to see their videos?
Yeah, actually, I was talking to him. I talk to him on a regular basis, and I was talking to him about how I was going to do an interview with you, and he's like, oh yeah, we did one with him too. And he sent me the link to their day 2 video that you were in at the beginning, so yeah.
Yeah, they turned us into 16-bit video game characters.
Yeah.
They turned me, and they turned Dr. Airsoft, and they turned Jonathan from Airsoftology, and of course all those guys that Vince and the Masked Man and Mule, they're all over there. The funniest video out of that whole week was how they kicked the poo out of the card poppers on the strip.
Yeah.
But then to see me be a little video game guy and walking out of a video game was hilarious. And there are a couple more of those videos still coming out, so while we're recording this, you guys haven't seen them all yet. But you got to get over to Airsoft Megastore. Those guys do some of the funniest, some of the best videos. And then let me put a plug in for everybody else. Airsoft Megastore is one of the big stores out of Southern California. Evic, Matt, and his guys bring a whole crew, and they're all over the floor. They can do way more than one little Thumpy can do. And then, of course, Tim and Bob have been friends of ours for quite a while over at Airsoft BI. They bring a whole crew in, met all of their editors. Those guys are working so hard to get out videos. And then in between all of those guys in the media room this year, I turn to the right, and who's right next to me but all of the guys from Funker Tactical. So if you know the Funker Tactical, real military stuff channel, they're there checking out videos. They actually were the official videography guys for the SHOT Show this year. So when you see the stuff from Range Day, the Funker Tactical guys are all there. They're all from Canada, near where I used to live up in New York State. We hit it off really great, so hopefully we will be doing some things to try to help them out and get with them. And I got to put one more plug in this morning, a little bit of sadness in our heart, because we had a mutual friend who was killed in Syria on Thursday, Yves Debay, who's one of the world's greatest military photojournalists. But Big Dom from Big Dom Photo has kicked off one of the magazines. You can't even really call this thing a magazine. It's like a book that will be coming out every 3 months called Flashbang. It is some of the most innovative photography. It's absolutely a delight to see somebody put this much quality into something. But KWA and Chris will be distributing this new book called Flashbang, featuring 3 of the world's best special operations type units or teams in each edition. They will be covering American units, they'll be covering European and Asian units. Dom flies off to do this fantastic photography. He's been a freelancer for years. And you're going to get 400 photos never seen anywhere else in each edition. And this thing is printed by the people that make catalogs for Swiss watch manufacturers. It is an amazing book to hold and feel and hold in your hands. The photos are just unbelievable. But as much as I've kind of like, you'll see an interview that I did for Airsoftology. I'm the guy on camera for Jonathan with Don. When Jonathan gets back to Tennessee, they'll be putting out a ton of videos. Wait until you see this magazine, guys. You've got to get it. KWA is going to be distributing it. It's absolutely fantastic. You're going to want every single edition of this thing. It just blew me away how good it is. And I've been a guy who's been in media for 30 years, and it kind of shocks me that, people are out there that haven't done this yet. Man, lay your hands on Flashbang. If you can get a copy of it, it is just unfreaking believable.
That's going to be awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Thumpy, and showing our fans what went on. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure they will love it.
Will, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Let me put in one last plug. Will's got stuff going on. It has one of the best podcasts. We listen to you guys a lot. We really, really love what you're doing. But let all your fans know, too, that they can find out the news every day, 24 hours a day, over on the Scoop It. Our first year, we're over 180,000 views. I would imagine it's going to explode after SHOT Show with all the people that are going to find it. But the Scoop It's free. Just search for Thumpy and Scoop It, or Thumpy and Airsoft, and you'll find all of my channels. You can find the news right here in America and all around the world, all in one place. And we'll be back with you guys. You tell us when you want us to do something. We'll be glad to help you guys out. Love to be the DD Swinger TV guys.
All right, thanks a lot. And make sure you go check out all his channels and his Scoop. It's great stuff. Great way to get the Airsoft news all in one place. And we'll see you next time with our next episode. We'll have Airborne Milsim on, hopefully as a guest. So make sure you check out that. And we'll see you next time, guys.